Hey guys, Kevin here with Blitmatch, and welcome to my second playthrough of Loyal Vigil, the expansion for Netherwatch, the board game. If you haven't seen my previous playthrough, it was at Coffin Rock Campground. It was the easiest version, well, easiest scenario in the expansion. It went well. But I have to put an asterisk on the result because I was playing completely wrong for the rift placement. So I was actually placing the rifts at 2 zones instead of 3. And I just want to thank the devs for pointing that out. It was still a really fun playthrough. It went really well. I just figured, you know what, let's do another one and let's get one done properly. But this time I'm going to step it up. Last time we did I think it was operative difficulty, which is the yellow difficulty. This time we're going to step it up to veteran. It's going to be red. So that means that any entity overlap where we're not hidden is instant death. So that's going to be something to be careful for. If we are hidden, we have to also roll, I think it's hindered, frightened, deadly, which means that if we run out of sanity and we're into breakdown after that roll, even though we're hidden, we're dead. So this means that we're going to have to be very careful with the demon, how things are different. So let's go straight into it. Yellow is a containment scenario. So it is the middle difficulty for the scenario, but we have the hardest difficulty now, which is the red demon skull for the game difficulty. So this is going to be pretty tough. So this one is called Le Bois des Veilleurs and is in France. And the site description is this. Le Bois des Veilleurs is the site of an ongoing emergency following the violent disappearance of multiple hikers along established routes. Search teams report signs of struggle at several locations, including torn packs, blood traces, and deep gouges cut into stone markers. 2 civilians were recovered with severe injuries, describing sudden attacks by an unseen force that drove them from the trail into dense forest, but others are still missing. Veil readings confirm an active, hostile presence exerting sustained pressure on the area. Agents are authorized to conduct immediate rescue operations and neutralize the entity before further casualties occur. Now, the hints that we're given: 3 civilians are still missing in the campsite. You must locate them and return them to safety before dealing with the demon. So, there are these objective markers here. This one is B, there's A, B, and C. Each objective is a person that we have to rescue and we have to bring back to HQ. That's why I've got the athlete and the border collie, because these guys are runners. I've also got Toby the Bloodhound supporting us for the investigation because he will give us some clues. But basically my team here, this time I picked, and it's all about mobility. I figured if we're going to play on veteran, let's give ourselves an advantage. So we got to find the 3 people scattered around, and they're going to be in very specific zones, which are the Briar Thicket, Overgrown Grove, and Picnic Shelter, all in these exploration tiles. So I'm going to put these up here, just give them more space. But basically, exploration tiles are here, special tiles are there. So yes, there's some of these that have effects, but these are the ones we're going to be focusing on to find the hikers, campers, whatever you want to call them. Now, the next thing we got to look at is, let's see here for setup. Okay, so there are going to be things that happen on fates 3, 4, and 5. So on 1 and 2, nothing's going to happen. 3, 4, and 5, on 3, there's malicious intent. And it means that human agents, so only the athlete in this case, will roll frightened at the beginning of their turn. Now, the reason that's bad is because there's also an operational rule here for this specific operation where it's called jump scare. And each time an agent ends their turn frightened, they must drop an item. On a 4 and a 5, keen scent will allow canine agents, in this case the border collie, when he investigates, he can also place a clue in an adjacent zone. We've got the pocket stove sitting in the torn tent area. That was a really good item that we used last time to regain some sanity, to get us out of breakdown. And then we also have the signal flare, which is over here in the parking lot. Our characters are starting at HQ. We have the athlete with the green base, so you can see which standee he's on, and then the border collie with the blue base. The demon is going to have the red base. I've got him here. I'm going to put it over there. And let's start from HQ. And I think we're going to start with the border collie. Let's get him running because he's quick. And he can actually, with his training collar, he can fetch guard or guard as a free action every turn. So that's going to be really nice. So we're definitely going to take advantage of that. And then we got the scout cam, which allows us to reveal some clues or cover tokens or hazards. So that's something we're going to want to retain. On a 2 or 3. We don't have to discard it. So we're going to be paying attention to that. So we're going to start here with the training caller's fetch free action. So let's move the border collie. So in this case, with a fetch action, you get to move 2 zones and pick up along the way. So we're going to move here. And in this zone, we're going to use the pickup action as part of fetch. We're going to discard this scavenge token and we're going to draw 2 scavenged items. So this is the advantage of the Canine Agent. You get 2 instead of 1. So we get the GPS tagger and the trail map. So I'm going to put those in the utility slots. Now, these cannot be used by the border collie because they are items that are not accessories. But he can definitely carry them. That's not a problem at all. With these 2 items in my inventory, we're now going to continue the movement. So that's the first one. And this is the second one for fetch. Now there's no items in here. I could have actually picked up the signal flare. Probably should have, but I was just greedy for the scavenged items. And I'm going to reveal now this cover token since we're ending our turn there. And this is a hidden cover. So this is good because that'll protect us from the demon. So now that we've used that, we still have our 3 actions remaining. So the next one we're going to do is I think I'm going to do a movement action. So that's going to be 4 for the border collie. So it's going to be a 1 over here, 2. Now, if I stop here, I can reveal the cover token. If I don't, I've got to keep going. So I may stop here. So I'm going to just use 2. And in fact, let me think here. You know what? I'm going to take that back. Instead of using the move action, I'm going to use the fetch action again, except that I'm going to pay for it this time. I'm going to move 2 since I'm stopping here anyways, and that's going to allow me to pick up the pocket stove at the same time. So I'm going to remove this 1, grab the pocket stove, and now the border collie has a full inventory. He can't use it, but it is a synergy item, which means that the athlete could use it out of his inventory as long as he's in the same zone. We're going to reveal the cover token since I stopped here. So that is an exposed cover. So that's bad. We do not want to be there. That means that this is a kind of a dangerous setup to begin with because now we only have 1 hiding spot. We don't have one for each of the characters. So let's keep going here and use the free action to now explore. So we're going to grab an exploration tile and we have the deteriorated path. It does have a red here, which means it's a special tile connection possibility. So let's see. Deteriorated path. It is not on here. So let's keep going from there. I'm going to bring it up this way. And now, because we are 3 zones away, we have revealed the second rift. So I'm going to grab that. And this is the way it's supposed to be played, guys. So second rift is here. And a scavenge token gets added with every even rift. So in this case, number 2, 4, 6, and 8. So the next thing I'm going to do is before I move, I'm going to actually drop the GPS tagger and the trail map. So you're able to do this for free, dropping items. This means that the athlete can then pick them up later because I want to keep some space here for some other items since now there's a scavenge token in this area. So I think I'm going to use fetch again so that I can pick up some items and keep moving. So we're going to move into the deteriorated path. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow us to grab, again, the scavenge token. And we're going to be able to grab 2 items. So we found the bear spray, which is a reaction item. Now, I don't believe this one can be used by the border collie since it's not an accessory item. But this would be really good for the athlete. And it'll basically stop the demon from moving into the athlete zone. And then the ranger's key ring, which allow us to remove a lock. So now that I'm in here, I will actually spend another action to explore. And I'm going to grab a exploration tile here. And this is the forest clearing. So I think I'm going to move over here with the forest clearing. And again, there's another red connector, which means another special tile. If I look at here for the forest clearing, no, there's nothing for that either. So we haven't found anything of interest yet. We're looking for the briar thicket, the overgrown grove, and the picnic shelter. So with our remaining movement, so we've used 1 here out of our fetch action. With the second one, we're going to move into the forest clearing. Now, it's not a great spot. There's nowhere to hide. So, again, I'm playing on veteran. This could be really sketch, guys, but I'm gonna have to take a chance, and we gotta make some moves here. I can't freeze, right? Now, guys, I caught a little something here, and if you caught it, then you have good eyes, because I actually had these 3 blue cards up top here, because originally when I started the setup, I was going to play on operative, but I decided to play veteran at the last minute. So I'm actually going to remove these 3 cards. I've replaced 3 cards from the generic demon deck into here. So now at least it's going to be the 30 cards for the turn. So no harm done. But I did place a 4 on here on purpose. That way we keep the same fates so we know what's coming. So I'm going to move these away. Also, too, we're playing with the red die on veteran. So that means we have 2 spots where we're going to lose 2 sanity. So we're going to have to be careful with that. And especially with these dark areas up here, because that can be pretty tricky. So now the demon can come out this turn. The border collie's over here. That could be bad, but we'll see what happens. So here we go. We've ended the turn. Border collie is going to maybe get jumped. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, and we're going to flip over to the dormant side. Somewhere between certainty and dread, your grip faltered. The agent with the most sanity drops 1 electric item into an adjacent zone. If they do, they roll frightened. So in this case, the most sanity is the athlete. He has 8, and unfortunately, he does have a few electric items. So I think what we're going to drop is the, let's see, do we drop the thermal imager? I'm going to drop the thermal imager into the number 2 spot here. That way I'll be able to pick it up at the same time as the signal flare. And if I do, I have to roll frightened. So let's see. Okay, so we lose 1 sanity. And because we lost a sanity, we are now frightened. So then we go to the scenario, and we have a jump scare, which means every time an agent ends their turn, frightened. Ends their turn. Okay, so we're good right now because the athlete hasn't actually ended his turn yet. So that's good. All right, so now it's a Fate 4. So Fate 4 will give us Keen Scent, which means if Canine Agents investigate, but Canine Agents already played, so it won't apply. So now we start our turn with the athlete. So the first thing we're going to do with the athlete is we're going to do a move action. Now, the athlete can move up to 3, and then can move an extra zone by using his passive. And he can actually pick up and drop off other agents, so he'll actually be able to pick up the dog and move him on the way through. But right now, we're just going to focus on this area here. So we're going to stay pretty close. So I'm just going to use the movement to go 1. And then I'm going to use my second action to pick up. So in this case, we've got the items that are in the zone. So we're gonna pick up the thermal imager again, and we're gonna have the signal flare, which is if the demon would enter your zone, you may place a lit cube in your zone and all adjacent zones. So it's a reaction item, and then you can move or dash as a free action, then discard. Now on a Fate 4, the demon will remain in its current zone. So this could actually be really good to save our butts if the demon comes out this turn. So I will put, let's see, do I move an item into a container? I'm going to move the Chant of Renewal into Toby the Bloodhound's inventory. So we'll have to pay to get an action to get that out later. But I think for now, the best one is to have the flare on us. So that was the movement. That was the pickup. So now I'm going to move this over here. So now I think we need to explore. So let's do another movement. Let's use that final action. And I'm going to move into the trailhead here. And on the way, we'll use our exploration action. So I'm going to pick a tile here. And it's the Watchtower. So the Watchtower, let's put it over here on the right. That way it gives us some connections where we can go this way. And it has a cover token. So I'm going to put it here. Now, there are a lot more hidden cover tokens than exposed ones. So we just got bad luck here. But we have to hope that there's something there. Because basically, I can either double back to this hiding spot, go to HQ and remove Frightened. Which, you know what? I think I might do. So, because I moved 1, 2. So now I'm going to move back 3. And then I'm going to use his passive to move an extra zone. back to HQ. That's going to help us recover sanity. So on veteran, we recover 1 at the end of our turn. We also removed the frightened condition, which means that we are now unaffected by the jump scare, where if we finish our turn on frightened, we have to drop an item. We're not affected by that. So we're going to take that off. And at least it gave us a little bit of exploration. So now we're going to move on to the demon phase, now that the athlete is done. So next turn is going to be a Fate 5. So dormant. The space seems to be closing in as the demon appears. The active agent rolls frightened. So let's roll that. So active agent is the athlete. So the athlete is now going to be frightened in HQ. Place a cover from the supply face down in an adjacent zone if possible. Okay, well, the only adjacent zone to HQ right now is the parking lot, so we're going to place it there. That's not a bad thing. You may place a cover in any zone with an agent instead if it's a 2 or 3, but it's not. It's a 4. So this actually was not a bad one. I'm going to move the 5 here. And now we can reset our actions and move on to the turn of either the Border Collie or the athlete, but I think I'm going to start with the Border Collie. I'm going to first start off by grabbing an exploration tile. I'm going to use the Border Collie's free action for explore. And we've got now the wood pile. So again, wood pile, we're just not pulling the best cards this time, guys. It's not so good, but we're going to keep trying. So I'm not going to do this because that's going to block us off. So I'm going to move here. I'm going to do it this way so that way we still have room for expansion. And the question is do I spend another one to grab another one? I think I'm going to spend another explore action, pay for this one this time. And now we have the Briar Thicket. Okay, so now we finally have our first one. It's going to create a dead end here, but I'm okay with that. We're going to add a cover token here. And we're still, I have to be careful here calculating our zones, but we still haven't found another one that's 3 away. So 1, 2, here is just 1. So we still haven't revealed the third rift. But at least in this one, we're trying to find people. We're not trying to get the rifts exposed, right? So having discovered that, we now have a special one. So we look here, it says, okay, place objective A in this zone. So objective A is going to go into the Briar Thicket. So that is a person that we must rescue. Choose one, regain all lost sanity or any agent gains 2 sanity. So that will be something in the Briar Thicket that will be interactable, which means we also have to place an interaction token here. So either agent can do that. And then we're going to move here into, let's see. So we got that. We have also a hazard token in here. So I'm going to grab one of those and we'll see what it is. Okay, so it only gets revealed when you go into the zone. Now the good news is that the Border Collie has a passive ability where he gets to ignore the first hazard he goes through each turn. So that could be huge for us. Now I kind of want to see what's in here, so I'm going to use the Training Caller's fetch action, and that's going to bring us into here. Now it gives us a movement. There is nothing to pick up in the zone because it says move up to 2 zones and pick up as a free action in each zone departed or entered. In this case, I don't have anything to pick up because you actually don't have to pick up the objectives. They move with you. But I want to go in here because I want to see what this cover token is. So we're going to flip that over, and that's a hidden cover, so good to know. So we're going to reveal this, and it is light. So light is when an agent enters this zone, if it is lit or dim, place a dark cube. So in this case, it is dim. So we're going to have to place a dark cube in the thicket. And if it is, and then human agents in the zone roll the sanity die, but it's not a human agent, so we don't have to worry about it. So at least now we know what that is. If the Border Collie had to come back, we could ignore it. But at least we've got that for now. Sorry that the light is a little bright on this side. I'm going to try to move it here so you guys can see what it is. All right. So now that we've fetched and we've moved in here, that was our first action. We stopped. So that was our free action from the Training Caller. And we've now stopped here. So now we're going to move on to our regular ones. So we're going to pay 1. And we're going to go with the objective, we're going to run back to HQ. So we're going to grab that, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the welcome cabin. So now objective A is now at the welcome cabin. I'm going to spend my, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. I think, do I make the, let's see, do I get the, yeah, I can, that's right. He's in there. So I have an opportunity to move a little bit more. So I'm going to do is I'm going to pay another action to explore again as a paid action. And we now have the dirt trail. So the dirt trail extends only one way, so we don't have a choice. We have to connect it this way. So this is going to block off this area, but at least we have over here. All right, and then as my final thing, I'm going to use my free action to heal, which is move up to one zone towards a human agent. So I'm going to move, since the human agent is at HQ over here, I'm going to move into the lavatories, bringing my, and do I get to move this guy with me when I'm healing? Yes, I do, because it says here when you move or heal. So I'm going to bring objective A into here. Now the border collie can hide in case the demon comes out. So now that the turn is done, we're going to move into here. It's a number 3. Let's see what we get. So it will be, and for number 5, it was if we investigated, but that didn't happen, so that's okay. So here it is, dormant action. Something crashes nearby, it's here. Discard the top card of the scavenged item deck. So we're going to take this card and we're going to discard it. So in this case, it is the binoculars. And manifest the demon in the rift closest to the active agent. So in this case, it is going to manifest in the trailhead. So that's not good. But the good news is it doesn't move. So as long as everybody stays hidden, we'll be okay. And then on a number 1, we discard the top 3 cards, but it is not, so that's okay. So here we go. Now the active fate is going to change to a 3. So it's a little freakier now because we know that we are so close to death, but at least we're not adjacent here. We're on a diagonal. Border Collie is not okay starting from a dark area, but this will be the first time, so it's not a problem. We have opportunities to do some stuff here. But now we have to remember that we are moving over to the manifested actions track. I also forgot, guys, that a clue should have been placed here, which means we would know what it is. And it is unfortunately not for the thermal imager. It is the animus detector or the PKAD. So not what we really wanted to start, but at least we have a clue over here. Now, the good thing about the demon manifesting is the border collie is actually going to get to play again. So but the downside is that the athlete has now been kicked out of HQ. Now, because having to move one zone out of HQ, even though it wasn't part of our actions, is considered a movement, that means that the movement ended here for the athlete. So we're going to recover this and this, or show this, and it's going to be a hidden token. So that's actually great. The next one is the athlete. So again, we are in a dark zone. And we are actually next to the demon because we got bumped over here from HQ. We're not diagonal like the border collie. So we're going to have to roll this twice. So the first roll is a blank. We lucked out like crazy because this is a terrible die. So we're going to do it again, and it's a 1. So I can live with that. We're down to 6 sanity. And first thing I'm going to do, so this doesn't happen again, is I'm going to light as a free action. So I'm going to actually turn the lights on here. I think what I'm going to do, the best case here, guys, is because this is going to trigger regardless because it's a reactive item, I'm going to use my flashlight special ability. Again, I took the flashlight because it was recommended in the little notes here, and it is going to be useful because if I spend 2 actions right now, I get to remove the frightened condition on any one agent in my zone, including myself. So I'm going to actually do that. So that way I will not have to drop an item at the end of this turn. And then the pulse monitor, because I haven't moved, will actually trigger and I will gain 1 sanity. So that puts us back up to 7. Now I'm going to hide over here, which means the demon will now go dormant. And I think we handled this phase really well. So demon is going to go dormant since we're both hidden. We're going to discard the next event card to keep the timer going. Now, guys, hold on. I just realized I can't actually bring this guy into HQ because it's not technically open, because when the demon's manifested, it is closed. So scratch that. We're basically going to just leave this here, pretend like the border collie did not move. I'm going to put his actions back to 2. And unfortunately, there's really nothing else I feel like I can do. So everything else applies with the exception that the Border Collie did not move and drop off the person in HQ. So now we're going to go back to the dormant phase. We've already discarded this, and we're going to reset all of our actions. So now the next character gets to go. We're going to start with the Border Collie. I'm going to go one action here, and we're going to move. Is because we start where there's a dark cube, we're going to have to roll for sanity. We got a blank. We got super lucky. So the next thing is we're going to do a movement. I had already moved the bead here. Just forgot to do the roll. Now we're going to move this one here over to HQ. Now it clearly says here on our little scenario chart that is moved from a zone that is adjacent to HQ. So then I can put the I can basically move the objective to HQ. So the objective, it would be moved to the trailhead for the second movement, which means I'm going to put it in HQ instead, and then the Border Collie can keep going from that point. So that is 2. I will use our free action for the Explorer to take this out, and this is the picnic shelter. Yes, guys, so we have our next one. So I don't want to block too much, so how about we go like this? It still creates some opportunities. We don't really care about the special tiles as much other than getting the ranger's office to escape. But now that we got the picnic shelter, let's work that out. So we're going to grab a hazard token. Put that over here. And then we know that objective C, so we have another camper that is stuck at the picnic shelter waiting for our help. We're going to have an investigation token since it's an interactable spot. And no cover. And we're also going to have a clue placed here because you place a clue anytime there's a interaction token. And oh yes, I forgot, the demon manifested and left. There is now a clue over here. So Border Collie is not going to end his turn here though, so I'm probably not going to get to see that clue this turn, but maybe I will. Let's see. So he's moved 1, 2. So now if I go 3 into here, the question is, do I choose to ignore that? I think it's safer to reveal it. So let's reveal it. So I'm gonna end my turn here with my movements, and we're gonna reveal the hazard token, which is light. So again, same situation. So in this case, we are gonna add a dark cube in this area, but we don't have to roll because of it's not a human agent. And then we're gonna reveal this clue. So the clue is, we have C2 PKAD. So that could be something that we want to capitalize on. Now, the other thing is that the picnic shelter is, that's pretty cool. So if you use this interaction token, you gain 3 HQ items and 1 sanity. So that could be a huge bonus for us if we needed to use that. But for now, I think I'm going to focus on bringing objective C back to HQ. So I'm going to play another movement, and you got to remember I can move 4. So we're going to go with objective C. We're going to carry it with us. We're going to go 1, 2, and then we're going to move back to the trailhead, meaning that we can drop this off at HQ. So now we have rescued 2 people. Border Collie's doing a great job. And now I think I'm going to move over to the watchtower as number 4, and we're going to reveal another hidden cover. So he's going to hide in here right now while we decide what else we're doing. With 1 action left, I feel like maybe we should explore again. Because he is in hidden cover, he's safe, so why not? Let's spend that action on exploring, and now we have the split log bridge. Now, this is interesting, because the split log bridge does not give us an objective to pick up. We're still looking for the overgrown grove. However, the split log bridge does give us an HQ. Now, this still is the prototype. I don't have the token for the HQ adjacency. So I'm going to use one of these because these light blue crystals are only used for the unique abilities and the sanity tracking. So I'm going to use one of these to show that the split log bridge is adjacent to HQ. So I'm going to place it right here to try to remember. That means that from this space, we can actually move into HQ. So normally it wouldn't be connected. We'd have to go around here. From here, we can actually connect to HQ, which means if we find someone here, we can bring them to the split log bridge and it'll go to HQ. We're going to add a interaction token for that, but we're not going to use it. We also get it to gain 1 essential item. So it'll be a good place to actually go get an item from here if we need it. And we could use that to also have safe cover at the same time. So that's not bad. That's one of the special ones. And that will be the end of the Border Collie's turn. So now we're going to move over to the demon phase. So here we go. Number 5. You are not safe here. Remove the cover token closest to the agent with the least sanity. Agents in the affected zone roll the sanity die, then manifest the demon in the rift closest to that agent. Oh, God. Okay, so unfortunately, it's the Border Collie. We are going to lose our safe cover here, guys. This sucks. We're going to lose the safe cover that was over here, so I'm going to discard that. And we won't be able to get that back, which is unfortunate, but luckily the split log bridge does have one. The downside is that the Border Collie now has to roll the sanity die. That's a 2. Oh, that brings us down to 4. Not good. And then we got to manifest the demon in the rift closest. So that means the demon's going to manifest once again in the trailhead, which means both of our agents are going to start in a zone adjacent to the demon. So that's not good for the next phase. So we're going to put down the 5. And now we got to figure out what we do from here. We should take advantage of the number 5 fate for keen scent. So if a canine agent investigates, also place a clue in an adjacent zone. So that could be a good way to generate a clue while we're running away for our lives. I would say let's use our free explore action. So we're going to grab a tile here, and we've now got the playground. So let's put it in a way. Let's see, I can't connect it that way, can't connect it this way, but this would allow us to go upwards, so that's not so bad. Can't connect that though, unfortunately. So maybe we do this so that we don't have to do the special tile here. We can try to do it this way instead. So the playground is going to go there. It is not a special zone, so nothing gets added there. Now we have to choose what we're going to do with our 2 actions for the Border Collies. So in this case, I think we're going to spend 1. So I'm going to use the 1 action to move the Border Collie over to the split log bridge. And while I'm here, I'm going to spend my 2nd action to interact. And so I'm going to remove this cube. And what that's going to do is it's going to trigger the split log bridge interaction effect over here, which is treat this zone as safe cover. So now, at the very least, the Border Collie is in safe cover. Let's see what else. And then, so we're going to be there until it's going to be safe until the end of the demon phase, which is going to be likely next turn. And then we're going to gain 1 essential item of our choice. So I don't really think there's anything I want to grab that's essential. So I'm just going to skip that because there's really nothing we need at the moment because we're not even close to knowing what the demon is. We haven't even checked a single clue. So I'm going to ignore that one and just stay there in safe cover. But that's also going to trigger keen scent, which means that we get to, after investigating, place 1 clue in an adjacent zone. So HQ is adjacent, but obviously we can't place clues there. So it's going to be at the watchtower instead. Now we move over to the athlete. So the athlete is going to start adjacent to the demon, luckily in a lit zone though, so we're not rolling for that. So for here, it's going to be 2 sanity loss. So 1 and 2. So since we can't really do much right now with the athlete, I think we're going to just use the 1 action to move over to the lavatories. The reason I'm going to do that is because I want to use my free light action to get rid of this dark cube. I figured the least we have, the better. Can actually get some lights on here and get rid of some of this unnatural darkness. And now I could move a 2nd with his passive, a 2nd movement, but I'm actually just going to stay there because with the pulse monitor, I'll gain a sanity back. So I'm going to gain that sanity back, and that's effectively going to end the turn. So the demon will now go dormant again. We've been doing a great job hiding. We're going to discard this next event card. We're now on a Fate 4, and we're going to reset all of our actions to start the next turn. I think I'm going to start with the Border Collie. I'm going to use the fetch action. So this is a free action for the training collar. I'm going to move here. And then while I'm in my movement, I will spawn an extra exploration tile with explore, and this one is going to be the abandoned cabin. So unfortunately, that's a dead end. It does have a cover though, so it's not so bad. That might replace the one we have for here. And I think that, let's see, is there anything here for the abandoned cabin? There is not, but I'm going to use the second movement of my fetch action, my free fetch action, to go here and show this cover. It is hidden cover, so at least we have another place to hide. Now moving into the normal turn, I'm going to play the dormant action. We're going to move normally. We're going to go 1, 2, and I'm going to pay another action to explore again. I'm really greedy, guys. I'm going through this exploration tile. Oh, we found the manager's cabin. So here's another one, but that's going to allow us to explore even further. So we're going to go, I think, like this. Yeah, give us some more options. Manager's cabin does have a cover token. And it doesn't have anything special on it, though. So there's nothing we can do there. However, it is 3 zones away. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 from the last rift. So we will now place rift number 3, which, because it's an odd one, there's not going to be anything special here. It just means now, though, unfortunately, it's another place the demon can spawn. So we're still in the middle of our movement. So that's 1, 2. Now, I could move into the manager's cabin, which I think I will. I'm going to pay another action to get an exploration tile. So this is the animal den. So this is another special one, not the one we're looking for with the objective, but I might pin this over here. It is a dead end. However, the animal den, being a special spot, will get a interaction token. And as a result, we'll also get a clue. Okay, interestingly enough, guys, the animal den is where the artifact is. That's really interesting, and it's also a place where the canine agent can gain full sanity. So that is something we're going to keep in our back pocket, because this is a place the border collie can go hide and might be really helpful. So I think ending movement here is the smartest thing. I'm going to check the cover, and it is safe cover. So we got really lucky there again. We haven't found another exposed cover. So I'm going to hide the border collie there. And that's effectively going to end his turn, which means that now we get to check out the demon again. So we're going to go into the pocket here. We're going to check the dormant phase. So it says, in the fluctuating light, an opportunity presents itself. Place a dark cube in the active agent's zone. So we're going to go ahead and do this first. So right over here. So the manager's cabin is now dark. And a lit cube in adjacent zones. So that is pretty cool, because so this is actually going to benefit us. So the playground is now going to be lit. The animal den is going to be lit. This is not adjacent, so it's really only those zones that are affected. Agents in affected zones roll the die. So that obviously the border collie is affected, so he's going to get a, oh, sorry, I'm going to turn this so you guys can see it. The map is sprawling here, guys. So we're going to get a 1, so we're going to lose 1 sanity down here, but we know we can always go recharge here at the animal den. And if it's a 4 or a 5, the agent may investigate as a free action. Unfortunately, though, there's nothing to investigate here, and I don't think it's going to give us anything. We could lose 3 sanity to place a clue, but that would put us in breakdown. So really, unfortunately, that's a waste, because there's nothing we can do in here. I wish we had been in the animal den, then we could have done something, but it is what it is. So that's going to now change us to a Fate 2. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the athlete's first movement to go to HQ. I really need to get some essential items that we're going to be able to use. So I'm going to take the thermal imager and I'm going to put it back into the essential items deck. It can be grabbed at any time later if we really want to. And what I'm going to grab is I'm going to grab the PKAD, because we now have at least 2 on the board that are for the PKAD. So this one is a little far away over here, but at least I got one here close that is a guarantee, so we can give that a shot. So we're going to grab the PKAD from over here, so that's going to unfortunately use another one of our actions. But because I can get any number of cards, I just thought that Toby the Bloodhound can actually hold some items. So I think to save a trip, I'm going to use this one here. So which one would it be? It would be the, I guess the Occult Talisman is one for shapeshifting. So I think, let's see, is there another one that I would rather use? you kind of just got to take a chance on what you have. So I think the Occult Talisman might be a good one to try as well. So I'm going to put that into Toby the Bloodhound in the container. And that's used up now 2 actions. So at this point, I have 1 action left. I was going to leave HQ to go back out there, but really, I'm not going to be able to investigate this turn. I'm just exposing myself if I go up here. So I think what I'm going to do is I took 1 action to do the essentials. I'm going to take the other action to do a loadout, which means I get 3 of these HQ cards. So that's going to be the final action. Now, what do we have? So we have a minor ward that could really come in handy to help stop the demon from getting to us. Area analysis will review the closest clue or cover. I don't think that's as good because we have the scout cam already on the border collie. So let's put that at the bottom of the deck. And then we have the arcane fetish, which once per any effect that requires you to roll sanity, you roll focus sanity instead. As much as I want the ward, this is actually a very good item, guys. So Jesus, getting a little stuffy in here because I really want to keep my flashlight so I can get rid of the frightened condition. I might drop the signal flare just because I do have the unique ability here that is reactive. So I think I'd rather have this on us. So I'm going to grab the arcane fetish and I'm going to drop the signal flare as number 2, which will be in the HQ. So as long as these guys don't set off the flare, we're good. So now I'm in HQ, and I think that I'm going to end the turn there. I'm going to place the minor ward down here. That is actually a really good item because it can stop the demon in its tracks. But unfortunately, this one's just better, I think, because overall it's going to allow us to roll dice. So that's the way we're going to do it. So now actions are done on each side. We did move more than 2, I believe. We did, 2 or more. So unfortunately, we're not going to get a bonus from the pulse monitor. But we now move on to the next demon phase, which is number 5. Let's see what we get here. So the shadows stretch like fingers to quench the light. If the active agent is in a lit zone. Now, unfortunately, guys, I thought that we would benefit from this because I figured HQ is not lit, but I read the rules and HQ is always considered to be lit, obviously, because it's the HQ van. It makes sense. So I would have to place a dark cube there. Now, I can't place a dark cube, but because I was in the zone, I need to roll the sanity die. So I'm going to roll for the athlete, and it's a 1. So it could have been worse. At least it's just down 1 sanity. And we're going to replace that, and now we're going to start the next turn at Fate 5. So I'm going to reset these. So now who do we go with next? So we're still trying to discover one of these tiles. Let's see. We have 3 zones left that we haven't discovered on the map as far as exploration tiles. So C is going to be there for sure. So I say we start with the border collie, and we will do a free explore action to see if we can bring out that zone that we need. Overgrown Grove. There we go. So we've now met that objective. So I'm going to place this, I think, this way to give us some opportunity to go up that way if we need to. Overgrown Grove is going to get a cover token. And we have to place objective B. I'm really liking this scenario. It's fun. It's a totally different way to play but now I think I'm going to start getting backlogged on clues here. Now, guys, I just noticed a big thing. So I did unfortunately make a mistake here as I was doing the objectives. As I was going to place objective B here, I realized that when you place an objective, it's because you've triggered the interaction token. So unfortunately, some of the previous moves, like when I grabbed the A here and the B, I think it was at the picnic shelter, I would have had to actually play and use the interaction token. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the interaction tokens. In order to compensate, I'm going to actually give no benefit to the agents for having triggered that. And I'm going to move them down both 1 action. So it's going to just give us 1 less action to play this turn. Hopefully that's enough compensation for that because we did move them around a lot. I don't think it would have affected us that much because there were turns we didn't use any actions, but I think it's worth, at least specifically that we got to the hidden spots. I think that that's going to compensate for a little bit. I'm just going to do that to make it a little bit fairer. And I see I didn't get the HQ items from the picnic shelter. I didn't get the stuff from the briar thicket over here. But for here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave this on the side. I'm going to put the interaction token here. And we're actually going to play this right this time and only place the objective when we trigger it. Now, the Border Collie did start with a dark cube, so I'm just going to retroactively do this here. So this is getting a little bit out of hand here, but at least we should be pretty close here so you guys can still see. So this rolled as a 2. So the Border Collie is now going to lose 2 sanity for starting in a dark zone. He is so close to breakdown, so I think we may have to make a visit to the animal den. And he's got, at this point, 2 actions left. So what do we do? Okay, here's the idea. So we're going to move to, we're going to spend 1 here. We're going to make a movement. Actually, you know what? We're not even going to spend that. I'm going to use the fetch action, and that's going to move me over here into the overgrown grove. I will reveal the cover token since I'm ending my movement here, and it's exposed, so we don't want to be over here. With my next action, I'm going to activate the interaction token. So this is going to get discarded here. Now, it is a 5, which means that I will get Keen Scent and be able to place a clue in an adjacent zone, so that's good. And this will also reveal, because I forgot, there should be a clue here. Wild clue up here, because there's always a clue with an interaction token. So the Border Collie is now up here in exposed cover. And because I triggered that, B is now here. So he's found the missing person. And I get to lit this one I did legitimately. So I'm going to fulfill the action here. And it's up to 3 lit cubes in dim zones. So I can pick any dim zone I want. So let's do 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. And let's see which ones are dim. So in this case, we've got this one is dark, so we can't do that one. But why don't we do the watchtower, since it's a bit of an intersection? And maybe we'll do, let's see, there's not much else we can do. This one here, since it's close to HQ, it's actually an HQ connected zone. And maybe we do also the dirt trail in case we visit there later. There's really not much else we can do. Yeah, maybe we do it over here. Okay, perfect. So now that we've done that, I found the objective. So that was, so now I have 1 action left since I already took away one of my actions. I think the best thing to do would be to run back to HQ. Now, I can get there through the bridge. I can get through over here. The question is, what is going to be best? So if I make a movement here, I can move 4 because the demon is not manifested. So I'm going to go 1, and this is going to move with me. 2, 3, and I can actually go right next to HQ. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Use the heal free action to get myself into HQ because it's connected here. So we've now successfully brought B back to HQ on the Border Collie's turn. That's huge. Now the Border Collie is going to get to recover 1 because he's going to end his turn in HQ. And now we're going to move on to the demon phase. We are going to go back to here. Let's see. Oh, did I actually place? No, I didn't. I didn't place my additional clue for Keen Scent. So that's right. I'm going to place an additional clue in here in the manager's cabin. Since I was here, I investigated during a 5 fate. So I get with the canine agent. So I get that additional clue placed here. So now we're going to check this number 1 fate card and we're going to see what it is. So a violent clatter sends your heart racing. Remove the cover token closest to the agent with the most sanity. Well, in this case, they're both in HQ. So the closest cover token is going to be this one. So unfortunately, we've lost our cover in the parking lot. Agents in that zone and adjacent zones roll the die. So we are in an adjacent zone. That's not good. Border Collie could actually go into breakdown right here. So let's roll it. Oh my God, it went into breakdown. Okay, that's not good. So we have a breakdown event for the Border Collie. This is where it could go bad, guys. Agents in that zone and adjacent zones roll the dice. So that means the athlete as well. So now the athlete as well. So athlete drops 1, so that's down to 4. Then manifest the demon in the rift closest to that agent. So in this case, it's number 1. So the demon is going to manifest at the trailhead once again. The trailhead is the most haunted part of this park, right next to the welcome cabin. Isn't that lovely? We now get 2 manifested actions. Our Border Collie that was in breakdown, and we've just been thrown back to the parking lot. The good thing is that we have the opportunity to hide. The bad news is that HQ is not accessible, so we can't get to the split log bridge. Somebody is not going to have cover here. The Border Collie doesn't have to roll because he can't lose any more sanity. He's already in breakdown. The athlete will for starting adjacent, and that's 1. So now we're down to 3 sanity for the athlete. So I think, guys, what we got to do, we have no choice. We got to take a beeline for the animal den. I think it's one of the places that's going to save our Border Collie. So I'm going to do a dash. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 over to the manager's cabin. Now the athlete is going to go next. And about all I can do with the athlete is move over into the lavatories. That's, I think, about all I can do. So I'm going to move 1 over to lavatories. I unfortunately don't have any items I can use that I can see, but because I didn't move more than 2 zones, I will actually get a recovery here from my pulse monitor, which is really good. Now, because the Border Collie is the target, the demon will persist for another turn. So now we're gonna take the next event for the demon. We wasted an action for the athlete, but there's not much we can do about that. Okay, so now we have to read the manifested side. So it retreats to the familiar. Is it weakened? The demon moves 1 zone towards the closest rift. If already in one, it moves 2 zones towards the active agent instead. So the active agent, this is where this is important. The active agent was the athlete. They were the last ones that played. So let's see, if already in one, it moves toward 2 zones toward the active agent instead. So it's going to move 1 and 2. Now, this is going to add a clue here because it departed from that zone. And now with a 1 or 2, you place a dark cube in the demon's final zone. So this has just gone from bad to worse. So now this is now an unnaturally dark zone. Luckily, our athlete is still hidden, but he's not going to be able to go into breakdown, thankfully, because of the pulse monitor. So I think we're going to be safe. The problem is that the minute that you have overlap, then you've got to roll this, and it's hindered, frightened, deadly, I believe. So that only lost 1, but now the athlete is frightened, but because he's not in breakdown, he did not die. So he's going to stay hidden in this area. So the athlete, unfortunately, is going to have, yes, a full turn, but not be able to do much. And unfortunately, it's a fate 3, so the pulse monitor is not going to affect anything. As far as I still get, I guess, 1 sanity back, but I won't get the 3 sanity back that I'd get if he didn't move at all, because unfortunately, he is stuck here. So now we're going to leave the athlete there. I guess the only thing he can do is he can use the flashlight to remove the frightened condition for himself. So I'm going to do that. That way he will not have to drop an item at the end of his turn. And then the pulse monitor will recover him by 1. Now, another thing I forgot, guys, is in the overgrown grove up here, there was supposed to be tokens. So in this case, it's a hide. Going back to our actions, I think we're just going to stay there. There's really nothing else that I can do. So we're just going to waste the actions for this turn for the Border Collie. We're going to reveal the clue since we are there. So that is another wild clue, which is good. That could help us out a lot. And we will then stay in our respective hiding spots, which means that the demon will now go dormant. There's no extra target that was generated. And we're going to discard the number 5 card, and the demon comes off the board. Now, another clue gets added here because the demon just disappeared from here. Because the agent is already in the zone, you get to reveal the clue right away, and it's a wild clue. So this is a good place to be starting our next turn. So now we're going to move our actions back to normal. So we're going to go back to the dormant phase. So we survived another round. The first thing is the athlete is going to have to come out and roll because he is starting in a dark zone. So we're going to roll 1. It's just going to be 1 sanity lost. So I think for the first time in this whole game, let's get to investigating. We've done our objective of rescuing the people. So now let's find out who this demon is. So we're going to go with the PKAD, and we now will be able to investigate. Now, frightened or agents in frightened or in breakdown can investigate more efficiently, but in our case, we're just going to have the regular usage. So I'm going to pull out the Codex Daemonum, and we're going to check out how the PKAD works. And in this case, it is a hybrid interpretive classification device. It is easy to operate, and it verifies for the aggressive or stalker tendencies of the demon. So an advancement over older scrying implements, the psychokinetic aggression detector blends arcane pattern recognition with kinetic sensor arrays to detect latent behavioral signatures. As the device calibrates, it reveals a sequence of glyphs tied to the entity's movement and intent. Matching known aggression or stalking markers confirms the presence of those traits with high reliability. So we're going to have to pull out the PKAD dice. So I'm going to pull them out of here. There's 5 of them, sorry. And we're going to have to pull a card out of the Demon Vault that will be the puzzle card. So the PKAD reader is in our bag over here. So we have our PKAD reader here. Only one side, yep, only one side. And then we're going to go in the Demon Vault and we're going to pick one of the PKAD cards out of here. So we can either test for aggressive or stalker behavior. So in this case, it doesn't really matter because we haven't started. So I'm going to test for aggressive to start. I'm going to place this card over here. And now, as the investigation, so we choose one of them, which we have, and then we place on top of the reader face up. And we have to match the dice with all of these. Now, these dice, I don't know if in the full game, once it's in production, it's going to have the same symbols. Mine just had the little pips on them, but we know which one it is. It's just Roman numerals on here. Let's see. So choose either aggressive or stalker. If you have already used the equipment and choose a new card, lose all the assigned dice. So if I were to switch to stalker, I lose my assigned dice. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm not optimal, so I get to only roll all the dice here once. Because optimal usage would be agents who are frightened or in breakdown may re-roll each PKAD die once. In this case, we're going to roll them all. And we got 4, 2, 2, 3, and 1. So assign any matching results to the PKAD card. So in this case, we got a 1. We got a 2. Wow, this is actually a really good roll, guys. A 2. A 2. A 3. And a 4. Wow, so we almost got a perfect roll. So this is luck is on our side. Now, I may roll the fate die to change one PKAD roll result to any desired number up to once per turn. I can do it. I'm not going to go into breakdown, so I think I'm going to take the chance, and I'm going to do that. So we're going to use our Arcane Fetish to try to hedge against it. So that's 1 loss, 1 loss. So unfortunately, we didn't get a blank, but I'm going to lose 1 sanity, but we're going to put this to 5, which means that in one shot, guys, we've gotten the PKAD. That is a huge boom. So now once I reveal it, which now I've unlocked it, I get to flip it over. And I get to analyze these symbols down here. So for aggressive, if one of these symbols matches here, then I know that it is an aggressive demon. So the scissors are not there. This symbol is there. So so right there, we know that it's an aggressive demon. So that gives us a match, and we've now solved something. This is awesome. So now that we know that for sure it's an aggressive demon, we are going to mark that off here. So I'm going to put a check mark under aggressive. And we're going to rule out the ones that it's not. So it's not the Pontianak. It's not the Kamazots. Not the Onryo. Not the Rakshasa. and it is not Azazel. So it's not the same as the first game we played. So that still leaves us with a lot of different ones to interpret, but at least it gets us started. Now with that, we also can't forget that our Toby, our Bloodhound, we forget him because he's in the third slot, but he actually, when we investigate a clue, which is the first time we actually get to reveal or place a clue, not reveal, but place a clue in an adjacent zone. So we're going to do that here. Now I'm going to take this one here and I'm going to place it back into the pile of clues. And we've actually got quite a few now on the map. So this is really, really good. Now, I don't know if I just can't count or if I just move this over, but this one here should obviously be in the manager's cabin because it is 3 away from the last rift. So I don't know if I just maybe moved it over by accident. I didn't notice, but that's really bad because we're in a zone with a rift. But hey, it's safe cover. It is still a good spot. Because he's already used an action, I think I'm going to do something that I don't often do, but it's going to be to center because he can gain sanity while he's not in breakdown. He's still in hidden cover. I think that would be huge. It's going to waste a little bit of time, but I think, guys, it's going to be worth it because I think I'm going to use the scout cam with the border collie to get some of these tokens revealed. So I'm going to use both of his actions to use center, which means that without ever leaving his hidden spot, he's going to regain 1, 2, 3, 4 sanity. Now, yes, I know he's still in the dark zone, but I have a free light action, and I'm going to use that to turn this into a light, which means he will not be in a dark zone when he starts his next turn. So now that he has done his turn, we're going to move over to the border collie, but first we have to play a demon event. Dormant. Something is there in the dark. Place a cover from the supply face down in the active agent's zone. If possible, if no cover is placed, all agents not in breakdown gain 1 sanity. Now, I'm not quite sure how to interpret this card because it says that you have to place a cover for the supply if able, or if possible. I can because there's still lots of covers in supply because they are finite. And it does say in the manual, the rule book that you can actually place more than 1 cover if one were to be moved there. Well, technically placing is not moving. I don't know. But I'm just going to go ahead and place another one because it would be technically to my detriment right now because if no cover is placed, everybody gains a sanity. However, this would also be a bonus because now we have 2 places to hide here. So that's what I'm going to go with. If you guys know otherwise or think otherwise, let me know in the comments. But that is what I'm going to go with on this one. I really got to get this poor guy out of breakdown. So I'm going to use my training collar to do the fetch action. So he's going to fetch and he's going to move into the animal den. That's going to reveal this clue. So it is okay, good. That's actually a clue we could use with the occult talisman if we end up using that, which we have over here. We do have this interaction token in the den. So it's going to cost him 1 for movement. Now it's going to cost him 2 to do that because investigating while you're frightened costs more. So by triggering the interaction token, I got to get rid of this. And now I can read here. It says each canine agent gains full sanity. So he goes from breakdown to 7, effectively removing that breakdown. So that's what I was waiting to use this for. That could have been really bad had he manifested on here because he would have been dead, but luckily he manifested in number 1. Now I still didn't get to use the scout cam, but I figured that was probably the more important thing to do. So now that that's done, we also place the artifact in this zone. Now the demon artifact is not required for this scenario. Frankly, I don't know if I'm going to touch it because that thing is cursed. It's going to put the target on our backs. So now that he's full sanity, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the heal action, which will bring me back here. Now, yeah, this is probably not a good idea to be in a rift zone, but the good thing is I'm full sanity now, so I don't have to worry about dying, especially now that I'm hidden. So as long as I'm not exposed, I'm okay. And now the border collie is done his turn. I will now get another card here. That's a number 1, and we'll see what it is. A sudden crash pierces the tension. Remove the scavenge token closest to the agent with the least sanity. So least sanity is now the athlete. So we actually, guys, don't have a scavenge token on the board. So we don't need to do that. agents in and adjacent to that zone roll the die. So luckily nothing happens. So this is a huge plus for us. And on a 2 or a 3, an agent would also drop an item. But in this case, it affected no one. So we're just going to chalk that off as a lucky event. It's back to number 1. And now we get to reset our dormant action turns. So now, guys, we need to really focus on getting our clues identified. So I think I'm going to start making the agents move together at this point. So I'm going to get the border collie to come back. So he's going to move, let's see here. So in this case, well, you know what? Before I use that, I'm going to use his fetch action. So he's going to move 1 and 2, end in this zone, and he's going to reveal this clue. Okay, so this is the animus and that triangle as well. Then I think I'm going to go ahead and use my first action to use the scout cam. So scout cam will let us reveal clues, hazards, cover tokens. So it's not the optimal time to use it because I'm going to lose it. But I think that just given everything that's going on and how we have to pick up the pace a bit, I'm going to use it right now. Super inefficient, but it is what it is. And I'm going to reveal these 2 clues. So there's one here and one there. Okay, so we're really not getting the clues that we want. The other ones are really far away. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Border Collie's passive ability for the first time, and I'm going to move the agent with me. So I'm going to take advantage of his movement. So we're going to go another one here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And then when you move or dash any number of agents in your starting zone and in zones you enter may join your movement. So this is a zone I entered. So now the athlete may join my movement. So for the 4th movement, I'm going to take him with me. And we're both going to move into here, meaning that now he's in a space where he could start for the welcome cabin. I'm going to use his next action here to move over here. So I'm going to take a chance getting us over here. So now we're able to move together. And then entering here, I actually get to ignore the first hazard you enter each turn. So that means it will not affect the athlete nor the border collie. So this will be the end of that turn. So now I'm going to take the event card, and it's going to be a number 2. So I'm going to flip that over. And as a manifested, we want a dormant action. The space seems to be closing as the demon appears. The active agent rolls the sanity die. So that would be the border collie. And that's a 2. So unfortunately, he loses 2. Place a cover from the supply face down in an adjacent zone if possible. We can. So we're going to put a cover face down here, since it's the only adjacent zone we have. Then manifest the demon in the rift closest to that agent. So the demon is going to manifest right here. Now, the unfortunate part is that we don't have any cover. So possibly a bad move on my part, but we got to get things moving here. We can't just sit idle. So now everybody's going to go onto the manifested action track. So I'm going to start as the, let's see, who do I start with? I'm going to start with the border collie. And I'm going to do an explore action just because it's going to give us a path potentially away. Yes. Okay, perfect. So this, I'm going to curve it this way so that it gives us a chance to maybe get away from the demon this way. Not that it would be that much of an advantage because we'd still get up next to it, but at least it gives us another path. So this is a cover token. And then I'm going to use the movement to go into here, and that's going to reveal this cover token here, which is a hidden spot. Okay, so we at least have a spot where somebody can hide. I'm going to use my next action for the exploration tile here, and that's going to create the stone cairn. So there's no real way to place it that's advantageous because it has to connect here. So I think that whichever way we look at it, we can't connect there. It has to be this way. So it's going to connect that way. Now, Stone Cairn also doesn't have anything. So we've discovered all of our exploration tiles. We have not gone into the special ones yet. But at the very least, we've done this. So now that the border collie is hidden, it's up to the athlete to hide as well. So since this one's a PKAD and I don't have my occult talisman out right now, I'm going to actually use it to roll the dice. The athlete is not frightened or in breakdown, so I don't get to reroll any of the dice, but we'll see here what we get. So we get 1, 2, 4, 5, and 2. So now we're going to go into here and we're going to get the other card for the PKAD, which in this case is the Stalker card, and we're going to place it here. So we need a 1, 2 4s, a 1, and 2 2s. So we got the 2 2s, which is good. So we're lucky there. The 5 is useless. The 1 will go. And the 4 will go. So actually, guys, I didn't think it was that good of a roll, but it is. So we lucked out. We got it almost on the first shot again. I'm going to take the chance to roll the sanity die to be able to change this to what I want. So we're going to roll focused, which means that because the arcane fetish, so we're going to roll twice. And we get a blank. So we did not lose anything for doing that. And we right away got the stalker trait figured out. And before I do this, guys, I'm just going to roll this because I forgot we started next to the demon. So that's 1. Oh, that one's cocked on the side. And another blank. So we've got another blank. So that will be, here, I'll do this here. Maybe it'll be a little better for you guys to see. And I got another blank. So that means I did not lose for starting adjacent to the demon. But now I'm just looking again and I started in a dark. So I got to roll again. So lots of sanity rolls. There's 1 and 2. So at least this one, we do lose a sanity, but it's the best of. We could have also, with the arcane fetish, we could have, before the second roll, choose to lose 1 sanity instead of rolling, but I think it was worth to roll. But this is per any effect, so this is really, really good. Now, going back to the PKAD, we will look here and let's see. So yeah, it was, we may roll to change 1 roll result to desired number up to once per turn. We only had 1 to change. We did that. So we have unlocked the Stalker PKAD, and here are the symbols. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look for matches. So this first cross symbol is not there. This one is not there. Neither is that one. This one is here. So we've now confirmed that it is an aggressive and a stalker. So in this case, we've now eliminated the fact that we know that it is in fact a stalker. We've eliminated the Amit. We've eliminated the Obaifo. We've eliminated the Nukalavi. The Vatala is still 1. We've eliminated the Banshee. And the Striga is there. So we've now narrowed this down thanks to our extremely lucky rolling with only 2 clues. We've narrowed this down to the Vatala and the Striga, however you say that. So I'm now going to put away the PKAD puzzle since we know that's done and we don't need to use it anymore. I'm going to put this back in the box. Very important to keep these in the boxes since they're tied to specific demons. And now we'll be able to ditch the PKAD as soon as we want. So now we're going to remove this clue. It's going to go back to the stack. And that will have used up one of our manifested actions. I already did that. And now the second action we will probably use to run away. So I'm going to go to 0 here. So all we can do is move because we do not have enough to dash. So that's the unfortunate part. I'm looking here at what the human agents can do. And outside of moving, there's really not much else we can do. So in this case, we're going to move over as far as we can. We can't go through the demon, so we're going to have to move this way. So I'm going to use the passive ability to take an extra movement when we move. And I'm going to move up to the hollow stump and then to the stone cairn. So I don't have a hiding spot there, which means the demon will stay manifested this turn. So now that we're done that, both of our agents have played, which means that we're going to move on to the event phase. So number 1 is manifested. It bends reality and you along with it. The agent furthest from the demon moves 2 zones towards the demon. The demon moves 1 zone towards that agent, then the demon goes dormant. the agent may roll sanity to prevent their own movement. So given that we're 2, we can do that. I think that I could prevent the demon from coming into my zone with this, but I think that that probably will be the best case scenario right now, because we're going to have to move anyways to get to the clues. So let's make the demon go dormant. So we're going to roll the sanity die. We at least, with the arcane fetish, get to roll focused. So it's a blank right off the bat, which means we don't lose any sanity. And now we can discard and the demon will go dormant. So he disappears. Why don't we get a new clue? Because we were able to replace this. So that's not for what we want. So we're going to take this off and the demon will leave a new trace. And we're going to place that here. We don't know what it is yet though, but it could be something we want. So now that that's done, we're going to go back to the dormant track, bring our actions back up everywhere. And I think we're going to start with the human agent at this point, because I really need to investigate. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to drop the PKAD. I'm just going to go ahead and discard it because we don't need it. So that's a free action. And then as a normal action, I'm going to take the occult talisman out of my inventory and I'm going to put it here. So for our second action, we're going to move 1 and 2. And I think I'm going to focus on investigating this clue. So this is an arcane detection tool and classified as easy as well. So the most dangerous demons are not the ones that howl, but the ones that wear humanity like a second skin. You must be prepared to see past the lie. The occult talisman is our answer to this most insidious of deceptions. Forged from consecrated silver and wrapped in woven sigils, it is more than an amulet. It is a lens upon the arcane, revealing what eyes alone cannot perceive. When activated, it responds to the latent distortions of shape-shifting entities, unveiling fragments of their true form, sigils too twisted to fully conceal. So when we have that, we have to get 4 fragments out of the demon vault. So that's that. And then the talisman is right here. So as I spend our last action to investigate, okay, so now I've gone ahead and taken them out. I've placed them under the occult talisman. And now I have to draw a fragment and place it face up on the device. So demon's not manifested, we don't get optimal use. So what I do is I just go under here and I draw one of these and I put on the device. So in this case, it is an upside down little set of horns, it looks like. And what it is that over here in the book, you have the images that show that, yes, it does have the shape-shifting trait. So in this case, we've eliminated the 2 on the edge. We have only the one in the middle because if it is shape-shifting for us, it will have this horn here and it'll have that. So if we see that it's got, for example, on the next draw, the little stars that are around, we know that that combination is impossible. So then it's not a shape-shifting demon. But if it shows up with the symbols here and only those, then we'll know it's that. Now again, Toby the Bloodhound, we're going to use his ability. We get to place a clue in an adjacent zone every time we investigate. So we investigated this one. And now I get to put a clue in an adjacent area. So I think I'm going to go here where there's hidden cover because that's where I'm going to be going next. So now we're going to go to the event, the demon event. It's number 4. So nothing happens on a number 1, luckily. It's number 3 that I have to keep remembering. So on a number 4, whoops, sorry, wrong side. Put that here. Okay, so now at dormant, your breath catches, you're not alone. The active agent rolls frightened sanity, then manifests the demon in the rift closest to that agent. Oh no. But luckily on a 1 or a 2, which right now it is a 1, the agent may move 1 zone before the demon manifests. And it's 1. So we still become frightened because we lost a sanity, but we only lose 1. So then we're going to move, but we do get to move 1 zone before it manifests. So we're going to move over to the lavatories. Now, unfortunately, guys, we can't hide this turn, but at the very least, we won't be adjacent to the demon. So the demon manifests here, and now at least we are at we are at the lavatories where there is a hiding spot for our next move. And the demon didn't move, so that is very, very good. So now we're going to discard this in the fate pile. So we're about maybe halfway. I think we're about halfway. So we have about 15 turns left to get this done. So since the athlete is in here, we're going to see what this clue is. This is the clue we placed. Unfortunately, it's not for what we need. Now, at this point, guys, I really don't want to burn too many turns down, but because I know we're so close, we're essentially within 3 investigations as long as we have the proper clues, which we have at least 3 here. So that's going to be our path to the confrontation phase because we're going to know at that point. But I'm going to have to burn, I think, another turn because I don't want to get the demon pulling towards us in any direction. I'm just being extra cautious here. So if I stay hidden here, I'm actually going to get this. The pulse monitor is going to be a bonus, but I still get the 1 sanity from the pulse monitor from not having moved. And I'm going to stay hidden there. The border collie is still hidden up here. So I'm just going to basically leave it like that. The demon is going to despawn and we're going to have the number 4 card flipped here. So here's a 3. I got to remember that. So I think, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to accelerate us a little bit here. So I'm starting in a lit zone, so I'm okay. And the border collie is hidden and he's just in a dim zone, meaning he's fine because canine agents are fine there. I think I'm going to use the border collie to move me around a little bit. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'm gonna go again, and I'm gonna take the agent with me. So I'm gonna use this passive ability to pull the agent around with me, and I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna move. So I'm gonna be able to hear if it says ending a movement in any zone you enter, so I can end the athlete's movement here. And then for my 4th movement, I'm gonna pull back here. I'm gonna reveal this clue, which is the animus and the little eye at the bottom, and then a safe cover. So now we know we have a safe cover there. Now, I don't want the border collie to get into trouble here, so I'm going to use his final movement to move him to HQ. Reason being is that I'm going to be able to sort of figure out which items we need and start to maybe pack some of them onto him. So while the athlete is not undercover, he's at least got his ability that can protect him, and I think it'll be a good place for him to start there next turn. So border collie ending in HQ will mean that a sanity is gained. I also have to remember that I have the frightened condition, which means that it's going to take me a little bit more to do investigations until I can get rid of that. Time for the number 3. Time for the number 3. So now we have a dormant. So the shadows encroach from all directions. If no agents are in a lit base, all agents not in breakdown lose 1 sanity. So that's not good because nobody is in a lit base. Otherwise, place a dark cube in the zone of each agent in a lit base. An agent's in affected zone rolls frightened. So in this case, I think we got the best outcome. We lost a sanity, but we didn't have to roll for frightened. So that's good because we could have lost more. So that's good. The demon is going to stay dormant. Now we're on number 3. So we got to be careful that human agents roll frightened at the beginning of their turn. I think the first thing we do is, can we get rid of this frightened? Yeah, we can. So let's use 2 actions on the flashlight to actually get rid of that frightened state. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to bring it over here. So that's going to leave us 1 action in order to investigate. So I think we're going to do that here. And that's going to give us 1 more of these. So let's pick one from back here. And it is these little notches here. So if we place the numbers in the same spot, so we see that there are little notches on the side. So we look at our book, and we can see, do we have these little crowns on the side? I see little crowns here in the middle on the side, which means that we still have a possibility of this being a shape-shifting demon. Now we're going to remove this clue here since we used it. And that effectively ends the turn of the athlete, but it's a didn't move 2 zones, so he will gain a sanity back from his pulse monitor. And he actually gets to place a clue in an adjacent zone because of Toby. So we're going to take a clue here, and ooh, yes, that's perfect. So maybe we place it at the bridge. Or maybe we place it here so we can go along the way. What do we think here? So maybe I place it up here, depending on where the demon manifests. Okay. And then, let's see, anything else that needs to be done? I don't think so. We started from a lit spot, didn't lose any sanity. So I think now we effectively go to the demon phase. So, number 1. So before I do this, that's right, it's 3. He should have rolled the sanity die at the beginning of his turn because it's the malicious intent. So he's rolling frightened sanity. So I'm going to roll once, and it's a blank. Yes. Perfect. So now that that's done, we're going to go into here. And so it's a number 1. That's the one I picked off of here. And we're going to read it. The demon is dormant right now. So you realize too late that you were wrong. It is the hunter and you are the prey. The active agent, which is the athlete, rolls the sanity die. So now this arcane fetish comes into play. So, 1 becomes the target. So now we have a target here in the athlete. Until the end of the next demon phase. Manifest the demon in the rift closest to that agent. So the demon is going to manifest in the trailhead. So now we move into the manifested actions. And the athlete can technically go right away. So in order to get this done, here's what we're going to do. We're going to move the athlete over to the playground. It's a lit zone here, so we're good for starting. Number 1 doesn't affect anything, but we do have to roll here for starting next to the demon. 1 and 2, so that's 1 sanity lost. I'm going to go ahead and take a chance, and I'm going to investigate right away to get the optimal usage to use it within 3 zones of the demon. That's going to finish us off here. So now we're going to be done with this. So we have a circle. And we have a thing at the bottom. So I think, see, the most efficient path would have been to get this one at the beginning and then let's say this one or these 2 first, but we had to go all the way. So we didn't get as lucky on this one, but we have to be thankful for the PKAD, right? And this one here shows that if it's got the bird at the bottom or the little, well, it looks like a bird sort of thing, and it's got a thing at the top, it is neither one because the combination cannot exist. So that means it is not a shape-shifting demon. So now we've completed this puzzle. So we've eliminated that since it is not a shape-shifting demon, we've eliminated the fact that it is the Vitala. I really thought that we only had 2. I forgot that the Leshy is here as well. So we now have 2 possibilities where it could be one or the other. Darn, that's really bad. So we don't have that many turns left, guys. So we have to make some decisions here. So we've gotten rid of this clue. And now we know that it could be a Leshy, could be a Striga. We have to pick one. We're not sure which one it is. And we would have to do a whole other investigation of some sorts. The spirit box is a possibility, which there are 2 here at the beginning, and that might be what we have to do. So I think the next thing we do, once we survive this encounter, is we go back to the truck. But now I think we need to find the ranger's office as safety. So now that the athlete is played, we're going to play the border collie. Now the border collie, I forgot, would have been kicked out here because he's in the truck. So now he would be starting adjacent to the demon. So that is no sanity loss, which is good. So I decided I'm going to play 1 action here, and I'm going to move the border collie over to here. So he'll now be in a hidden state, and the athlete will have to take his chances. So now we move over to the demon phase. Slide that in. And for manifested demons, it has chosen you. There is no stopping now. The demon moves 1 zone towards the closest frightened agent. Luckily, none of our agents are frightened. If there are none, the closest agent becomes frightened. Then that agent becomes the target at the beginning of the next agent phase. So, the closest agent would be the border collie in this case. So the border collie will get the frightened status for the first time. And that agent becomes the target. So this will actually move this over to here, because this will be the start of the next agent phase. Use my free explore action to get a special tile. I want to see if we can find the ranger's office. Unfortunately, we did not. It's the camp lodge. And the dining hall. Now we're going to place it this way. So you can't really see the dining hall. It's up here. I know it's a bit off the board, but we're going to place this up here because the camp lodge actually doubles as a place where you can access HQ. So I'm going to put this on there. It is locked, however, so we will need a key to get in. And it does have a hazard. So now that we've explored for free, we're going to use this action. I think we're just going to go to the abandoned cabin here and we're going to hide because I really want to get back to the truck so that we can get the rest of the equipment that we need to investigate, which will be the spirit box in this case. So the athlete's now done his turn. So now we move over to the border collie. And I think he's honestly just going to stay in hiding because there's no point in him moving around. I want him in safe cover. And I don't want anything to happen because now the demon is going to still move. So he needs to stay in a good spot. And I want to get the target taken away. So now we're going to move to the next one. So manifested, the demon seems drawn to the scent of fear. Is it finally satiated? The demon moves 2 zones towards the closest agent with a condition. Then the demon goes dormant. So unfortunately, the border collie does have a condition. He's frightened, which means that he's going to go 2 zones into here, and that's going to cause an overlap. So he will have to roll hindered, frightened, deadly. So we're going to roll here. Hindered means you roll twice and it's the worst one. So 1 and 0. So luckily he only uses 1. He is frightened, but because he doesn't end up in breakdown, he doesn't die. And then 1 to 3, the agent gains 1 sanity. So he gets that sanity back, and then the demon disappears. So that, we hugely lucked out on that one, guys. Hugely lucked out. Okay, now that the demon's gone, let's go back to the dormant actions, and we can focus now on actually getting this game done. So, number 1, we got to get the athlete moving on some of these things here. So this target is gone. The athlete is going to use the first movement to go 1, 2, and 3 into headquarters because this connects to headquarters. So now in headquarters, we're going to look for the spirit box. So that's going to cost us another action. And at the same time, we're going to look for items that we need for the demon. So here's the spirit box. That's 1. I'm going to check the book quickly here. So the winter stone fragment is a guarantee for both of them. So I'm definitely going to take this item out while I'm here. I'm also going to take out the ritual candles, the circle of, let's see here, which circle is it? The circle of despair. And I think, what's the other one here? So circle of despair, we need the seal of anathema and the circle of malice and the warding salts. So those items will cover the 2 demons that we need to battle. The Winterstone fragment is the only one that both have. The Striga is the less complicated one. The other one's a little more complicated as far as the items that we need, the Leshy. But nothing stops me from dropping all of these into the van. Okay, headquarters is number 2. There's a signal flare in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop all of these items into number 3. That way we've only used our, or sorry, into number 2. That way we've only used our, we only have to use our essentials action once and we don't have to spend more on it now. So it is in the truck in headquarters already taken out of the storage. So now we got to do this. The optimal usage for the spirit box is while the demon is manifested or in a lit zone. So luckily we have 2 lit zones here, which means that we could maybe do this all in one shot. I have a thought here. So right now the athlete is in headquarters. He has 1 action left. Okay, so I've actually swapped out the spirit box here. I've put the talisman back in here. I'm in HQ. I have 1 move left. Okay, so I decided now that I have the spirit box, I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to use my last movement, and I'm going to run over to here to the split log bridge, and I'm going to explore. So exploration, it's going to give me a special tile. And it didn't get me what I wanted. It got me the dock. Terrible. So this is kind of going to overlap on our card here. It's just this is getting quite massive. As you can see, it sprawls out quite a bit. So I'm going to try to sort. So it's going to be sort of covered, guys. I'm just going to try to make some room. But just know that this is the shoreline. And the shoreline doesn't have anything special. But it does have a cover token that spawns there. So we'll just put it right here. And it's a lit area, but just to remember that it's there. So this is just going to keep it a little bit tighter. I took a chance there because there's really nothing else I can do. But this gives me, so the athlete can move 1, 2. So the athlete could move straight there. So by exploring, I'm not going to do my second movement. I'm going to move over here and I'm going to see if there's a cover token. And unfortunately, it's exposed cover. I can light that zone for free, which means I can stay there. But now I just got to hope that the demon won't come out of this rift, because now 1, 2, 3. So this is actually now a rift zone. So guys, we're going to have to place the 4th rift here. So this is... So this one here, 1, 2, 1. This does not connect. So this is 1, 2, and 3. So this will be the 3rd zone. So the 4th one here will have a scavenged item on it. It'll be the 4th rift. So it's my first movement from HQ, second movement here. I'm going to use my 3rd movement to move here, and then I'm going to use my passive to move 1 extra zone, and I'm going to move back into HQ to get a sanity back at the end of the turn. So now, that was also a failure, unfortunately. So we're going to draw another demon card and see where we go here. The dog is still hidden. Okay, here we go. We're going to flip this. So now the demon is dormant. So the demon appears in a flicker of illumination. Place a dark cube in the active agent zone. So this would be in HQ. So we can't place that. And a lit in an adjacent zone. Well, this one doesn't have one. Or does it have? No, this one does have one. So since this one does have one, I can't really add a new one because this is HQ. This is actually connected to HQ. So I could add one over here. So let's put one here in here, even though it's locked and we can't access it. Agents in affected zones. So since I can't place a dark cube, that zone can't be affected. So I think that I'm clear from rolling the die. Now the demon manifests in the rift closest to that agent. I'm going to play some trickery here. This is technically, I'm in HQ, which means that this is adjacent, that's adjacent, and so is this one. I'm going to say that the demon spawns in 4. But I'm going to kick myself out once it spawns of HQ over here. So now at least the demon is going to have to do a little bit of work to get to us. So that's going to be that. And you know what? Just in case I made some other mistakes, I'm going to roll here for sanity. There's 1. I'm going to use my arcane fetish, and it's 1. So I'll lose 1 sanity. So now at least I've gotten the sanity penalty from this in case. And now we get to start the manifested actions phase. So the border collie's frightened. He's not in good shape. But we are now have been moved into a zone that's lit and where the demon is manifested. So we can have optimal usage for the spirit box, which is awesome. So I think we use our first action here for the athlete to check the spirit box. So we're looking at the spirit box, and it is a tech empirical item. It's easy difficulty as well. This modified EVP device scans for response across disrupted frequency bands, interpreting interference as fragmented words. Entities sensitive to electrical currents often react strongly to the device, revealing their presence through distorted replies. Correctly parsed answers can indicate a fear or rejection of electronic fields. So this one is pretty easy. Basically, we get this card, and every time we inquire, in this case, because it's going to be optimal usage, we get to ask 2 questions. So if we use optimal usage right, within 3 turns, we should receive our answer. So we hope that if it is a electric averse demon, that we will find an answer on here. So I'm going to go into here, into this bag. We're going to get the spirit box out. Puzzle. Okay, and here's the puzzle. So what we're doing is we're looking for words in this sort of red little zone. So we're going to go into here. I'm going to try to bring it up to you guys. So we're going to ask, we're going to use this side here. We're going to ask, why are you here? So that is not, I'm going to show it to you guys here. I know it's hard to see because of the focus, but basically it's like a Q, a 1, an N, and a and like a hashtag. So it's useless. So we get to ask 2 questions. So now I'm going to ask, do you want to hurt me? And it's a C89GA or something. So that means that so far, no response. So we're going to put the box on the side. And now the athlete has 1 more turn, which means we are going to decide to move here into the lavatory, and we're going to hide along with the border collie. So this is actually perfect, guys. And at the same time, Toby the Bloodhound is allowing us to place a clue in an adjacent zone when you investigate. So I'm actually going to replace the one here. Okay, I'm going to reshuffle this because when I took the clue off, I put the other one on, I accidentally revealed it. So I'm going to reshuffle here, and we're going to get what we get. Okay, so that is not the one we wanted, but that's okay. I actually picked a wild one last time, but oh well, it is what it is. So now, because we only moved 1 zone, we're going to get a sanity back from this. So this is going to bring us back to 4, and now we get to play for the border collie. Okay, well, hold on. If I investigate, I forgot about that. Okay, so now for the border collie, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend an action here, and it's going to be investigate. So a human agent in your zone may investigate as a free action, but because I'm frightened, it's going to cost me 2. So not super efficient, but at least it's going to get us somewhere. I don't know why I have these PKAD dice still here. I'm going to put them away. So now I'm going to take the box and I'm going to ask the next question. So last time we asked, why are you here? Why do you want to hurt me? Now we're going to ask, are you trapped? So the are you trapped says, again, not legible. So the third question is a bust. And because we are in a lit zone, it is going to be a optimal usage. So we get to do it again. Are you in pain? VX60. So we only have 1 question left to ask. If that question is not legible, then we know that it is, which one is it? I think we know it's the Striga, which is, I think, the easier of the 2 because it's got less items. But if it is electric averse, if it does come back, then we know it's the Leshy. So now that we're done the turn, we are hidden, which means the demon is going to disappear. We're going to discard this card, and we are getting really low, guys. I'm a little bit sketched out. So let's try to get this taken care of. So, oh, and actually again, it was once per turn. So that doesn't apply. Toby's thing does not apply. So this goes back into here. Okay. So now we need to find the final clue. I wish I had discovered this one as a proper clue for this, but it just didn't happen. Mind you, wait, is this the symbol for the electric aversion? Maybe it is good. See, the new tokens in the new game are going to be a lot nicer than that. Yes, you know what? That is the proper eye, because the other one is the eye in the middle. So this is actually the correct token we need. So we really lucked out with that one. So I'm going to go ahead and do this right away. So we're going to move our actions back to the dormant actions. And I'm going to go here, and I'm going to move the athlete over by 1 and 2. The second action, it's not a lit zone, but we at least have we only have one left, so it doesn't really matter. So we're going to spend this token. And then we are going to check the last question, which is, what do you want? So again, we can't read what that is. So I'm going to double check that I got all of them here, in case I missed one. No, yeah, that's the one we got. So we did go in full circle around. 2, 3. So we can't read any of them, which means it's the Striga, which I'm going to find out how to pronounce that name, since this is going to be, I believe, the demon that we're going to be hunting. So now we need to focus and mobilize on getting rid of it. So we know from the essential items, I'm going to go into here and I'm going to get rid of the ones we don't need. So the Circle of Malice doesn't matter because, I mean, they're on the ground. I'm just going to discard them. It's no big deal. The Circle of Malice is going to go back into the thing. Or sorry, no, Circle of Malice is the one that we need. Signal Flare stays there. And then we need the Ritual Candles and the Winterstone Fragments. So these 3 can go away. I'm going to put them back into the Essential Items deck. So this is just for cleanup. It's not because I'm actually doing an action in there yet, but I will be. And now the athlete has one more action left. So with my last action, I'm going to go Parking Lot HQ, and I'm going to end my turn there, which is going to bring my sanity up to 5. Now I did move a lot, so the pulse monitor doesn't matter. But this is where now I'm going to be able to shift the items over that I need. As far as the Border Collie is concerned, we're going to see here if we have what the demon card is. So we're going to do the demon phase, flip that over. Lights flicker and darken the area. Remove all agents from lit bases. Those agents roll frightened. No one is in a lit base. All other agents roll hindered frightened. Oh, great. That's even worse. So the Border Collie is going to be 1, 2. So hindered means the worst. So he's going to lose 2. He's already frightened. Now the athlete. Now again, I don't think I can use the Arcane Fetish because it's only for regular rolls. So 1 and 2. So we did get a blank. But in this case, I don't believe it applies. So we're going to lose 2. 1, 2. And we're going to become frightened as well. So that turn we ended in HQ didn't really help us at all. So now we are at a 2. And I forgot that because this was a 3, I got to roll frightened for the beginning of the turn. Oh, okay. We're lucky. So that's okay. So that didn't happen at the beginning of the turn, but we're still frightened because of the demon event. Now, we do not have many turns left. I can't really count. I don't think it's legal to count, but it's not too much. So what do we do at this point? Part of me wants to find the ranger's office in case we need to escape, because I don't know if we're going to be able to banish it. Now, the Border Collie can play. I'm almost wondering if I go over here and I try to explore and discover those places. I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go 1. So 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to explore with my free action. There's the ranger's office. Perfect. So now we know that we can actually escape if we need to. So the ranger's office is in this area. And that will be the place that we escape. So the ranger's office actually has no function as a zone interaction. It's just that it is the zone where you must escape if you have all the... you have to go pick up basically that token and you have to bring it back to HQ. So that's going to be our exit strategy. So now that that's done, the next move, I can't get sanity back from centering, so I'm going to have to, I think, go back to the truck. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to use, I could use the heal action since he's in here, the athlete is in here. And I'm going to remove the Border Collie's frightened status and gain a sanity back at the end of the turn. And now with my final action, to pick up the items we need off the ground. So I'm going to take the Circle of Malice right here. So I'm going to have the Circle of Malice. Which I can put over here. We have the Winterstone Fragment. The Ranger's Keyring is no longer necessary, so I'm going to drop it in HQ on the ground. The Bear Spray is nice, but it is not an accessory item, so he can't use it. So this could be good, I guess, for the athlete. So we're going to need to trade off the Ritual Candles, the Winterstone Fragment, and we then get to pick one item and keep it. So in this case, I think the best one may be the Pocket Stove, because it's going to let us regain sanity, and the athlete has already a way to block the demon from coming into his zone. So we're gonna stick with that. So we're gonna put this in the truck, and then that's effectively going to finish our turn now. So we're going to do another demon phase. The lights flicker wildly. The demon is here. Manifest the demon in the rift equal to fate. So fate is currently at 2, which means it's going to manifest over here. That's actually very good for us. All lit cubes become dark and all dark become lit. Remove all lit bases, and on a 2, all agents roll for sanity. So the Border Collie is going to roll, get a 1. The athlete is going to be able to roll because it's a regular. He's going to be able to use this arcane fetish, so it's going to roll focused. So 2 and 1. So luckily it's 1. Oof, that's really low. So all dark cubes, all lit become dark and all dark become lit. Oh boy. Okay. So we can swap. Let's start on this side. It's going to be a little complicated, but we're going to swap on this side. This is an intense one. So this becomes light. And that's it. Okay. So we've now basically extinguished most of the light on the area. And we've done our rolls. So that's now done. We're now on a 5. We did the 3 earlier. I did roll for that. Okay, guys. So one thing I noticed is I placed the wrong rifts in the wrong zone. So the dining hall up here is 3 away. So it has a rift, and so does the docks. But because I placed this one first, the one with the scavenge token, not that it matters because we didn't use it, but it should be up there in the dining hall, which you can't see just beyond the camera. And then the number 5 is actually over here on the shore. So it didn't affect any of the gameplay, but I just want to make sure that everything is properly done before we move into the confrontation phase, because we are about to move into that. So now that the demon is here and is manifested, we have to pretty much hide at this point. So we're going to use our movement to trade items. So in this case, the athlete can actually pick up, he can only move one zone, but the Border Collie can move as well. So, and he can bring somebody with him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this unique ability. All agents, including yourself, may move as a free action. Agents who use this effect gain 2 sanity if they're not in breakdown. So what that's going to do is now we're moved into the hidden areas, but we also will get 2 sanity back. So in this case, we're going to go 2 sanity back. So he's up to 5. He's up to 4. That's just a free action. For the next action, I'm going to do some trades. So in this case, the Border Collie can actually use this adjacent to a rift. So I'm going to leave this one on him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split up the tasks. So the Border Collie is going to use the Winterstone Fragment because he can move around quicker. And the athlete is going to use the Ritual Candles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade over the Ritual Candles. And I think the athlete is going to drop Toby the Bloodhound. Because we're no longer going to be investigating. So he can drop him in basically number 3, which will be over here. And if ever we need to get the chant of renewal, it'll be on that container. So we're going to move him. We're going to drop that here. He's going to trade the ritual candles over. We're going to keep the pulse monitor, the spirit box, because we're likely going to have to drop an item this turn because we're frightened. And we have the arcane fetish, the flashlight. We'll get rid of the frightened. And then we should be okay from there. The circle of malice. I think I'm going to spawn the demon over here. I'm going to do it over here. So we're going to see just so we can keep this space a little more open. Okay, so I rearranged some of the items here using the use action. So I'm going to keep the circle of malice on the border collie. The pocket stove, so it can be used by the athlete if needed because they're going to be moving together likely. And then the Winterstone fragment on the border collie as well. So on the other side, the athlete is going to have the spirit box, which he's going to drop. Arcane fetish, the flashlight, so he can get rid of frightened if he gets it. And then the ritual candles, which he's going to use. And his pulse monitor. In this case, he's going to use the 2 actions to remove the frightened condition. So we're going to start fresh. And since both of them are now hidden, he's actually didn't move his own, so he's going to get an extra 1. He's up to 5. So I think 5 sanity is pretty good, guys. And the demon will now go dormant. Effectively, we have only a few turns left to get this done. So I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but we're going to do it our best. I'm going to stop it here because this is where the confrontation phase is going to begin, because the next turn I'm going to be moving over to a rift to get this started. So that's all for the discovery phase, guys. I hope it was enjoyable. This one was definitely a lot better than the last one I did. I remember I did forget a few things, but at least I fixed the errors. There was nothing too detrimental. So now on the next video, we're going over to the confrontation stage. So I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.